Audio's good. I've got my water. A little coffee moment would be helpful, just in case I'm bored with you. You never know. Oh God, babe, the pillows. We'll fix this in post. Okay.
Shi'Anna.
Yeah. Oh God,
You look amazing.
kind of like work.
You look so cute.
Thanks. It's the lighting.
See, now you're receiving this, and I'm giving it to you, and you are receiving it a little inward.
Okay, so this is what we were talking about. We're both affectionate in our own way. I'm a very practical lover. I like to keep the house in a state that allows for both of us to live in it with ease and mindfulness and intention. And he has other things that he does where his way of showing that he loves me is oh God, where do I begin? Making faces that look like animals so that I come over to him and hug him, or coming over to me and then needing me to wrap around him. Never hugged me though.
That's not true.
In that way. What are other things he does? Just come over and you'll what?
I write you beautiful notes.
Oh, he writes me, yeah. Of course, for sure. Okay, that goes with saying he writes beautiful notes on photos of us, and it's like a diary moment, so I'm sure it's really helpful for you to be like, this is what happened on that day, this is how I
literally felt. I write the date that the photo was taken, I write how many days we had been together at that point, so it'll be February blank, day 252, on this day, blah 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 blah, and I write what was happening and what the feeling was that we were going through.
Very
quite
sweet.
Wonderful. I show love in many ways.
Yes, he shows love in many ways. But I was discussing before we taped, I went over and did what he does to me thing. He'll just come over and hug me, and then he'll be like, da, 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 and then we'll just kind of start dancing. And so I did that to him, and he just naturally did what anyone would do when the other person assumes whatever role. And it was sort of receiving it, but with the face of oh, okay, are we you're just taking it in. And if one person goes, I'm gonna be the one to push, someone's gonna feel oh, I'm gonna let myself be pulled. You know what I mean? But there's a bit of oh, I guess I'm letting myself do this. Anyway, so.
It's a relationship.
Exactly. Push and pull.
Speaking of relationships, this month we got back from spending 2 weeks apart. We got back from
it was more than that.
Redoing our long distance. It was like a throwback. And I know many people, at least on TikTok, thought I was going absolutely crazy. I'm sad. I'm fine. Maybe I'm not fine. Please comfort me in the comments. But I think what people started to find out was that I had just never really filmed myself for these TikToks. And now they were seeing my personality, because he was over here not thinking I was going crazy. He was thinking, oh, that's what I have to deal with 24 hours of the day. And now other people just have to deal with it. So I think that was just a little side note, that it was funny and interesting to see that during this time a lot of people were like, Chris, what are you doing? Because I'm usually behind the camera just giggling Ian, oh, look at Ian.
Yeah, I'm usually in front of the camera.
And then this time, for the first time, it was I was doing my own thing and doing these little skits and putting on a maid costume and letting my personality shine.
Yes, I know the way you are. He's so goofy. He literally is the goofiest, sexy person on the planet next to me. Maybe I'm not so much goofy, but definitely
definitely sexy.
I was gonna say sensual.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, and what was fun for me being away for those 2 weeks, I was hell-bent on moving out of my apartment, and I had this task at hand that was #1 priority. And when I would check TikTok and I would see the videos he posted, I appreciated it even more. I was oh, there's a Chris that maybe not that I don't always see, but there was something about the fact that he was doing it by himself. There was just separateness. Esther Perel, she wrote a book called Mating in Captivity. She's a psychotherapist. She talks about couples having togetherness and separateness, but that the separateness of each other help make the together that much more exciting and new, and it allows for discovery, right? I'm sure a bunch of you are experiencing this if you're in a relationship with your husband or wife or roommate. And so we were together for a really long time. We hadn't been for the beginning of our relationship. That was very normal. And then all of a sudden a new normal, which was like uncomfortable for me. You know, growing pains, all the things that come with all of a sudden having to share space with a human.
I have to say, like, going from long distance to living together 24/7 and then having this moment of like separation again, I think it's actually really good for a relationship for that to happen. Not because like we were like literally about to murder each other, but because having space built into your relationship is so necessary. We both love our alone time. So when you don't get that as a human, if I was living with a roommate, I would get annoyed with them. And if I was living with him, I would get annoyed with him sometimes. And that's just like literally how relationships work. And I know people have such a skewed idea of that on TikTok because we film like the best 2 minutes of our day. And I know people like frequently say relationship goals and all that stuff. And I was actually talking to my therapist and I was like, I feel like sometimes it's so imposter syndrome because like we have bad days when we're together sometimes. And then I still get DMs on those days of people saying relationship goals and like couple of the year. And then my therapist was like, maybe that is couple of the year, like the couple that can fight and still be very together and very in love. And I think that's so important to hear that your favorite couple out there, no matter who they are still having the same fights that you may be going through with your boyfriend or that you have had with people in your life. You can still idolize people and couples that you don't know, but in doing that, you need to realize they are also going through the exact same things that everyone goes through. All this to say, I think our like time apart and time apart in a relationship is so important because you still need to continue working on the relationship with yourself. That comes first. That comes before the relationship with someone else.
Yeah. I agree with everything you're saying. No one posts like the fights or the arguments or the vulnerable moments and
yeah, if you start filming the fight, it's like so inauthentic because it's like if you know a camera's going up, it's impossible to not like adjust.
You don't just like flip a camera on and all of a sudden decide to make it what you want it to be. You have to have the real moment first, learn in real time with your partner, with any experience. And then if you're feeling like you want to share it, you like write a book or you write a scene or you write a movie about your experience. And like, I think that's where it ends up happening. But my friend John Eric sent me a thing once and I was explaining to him like things I was feeling with Chris in terms of feeling like I missed having our separateness and any time apart I wanted from Chris felt guilt inducing because it was like, well, wait, like we wanted to be with each other this whole time and now we are. And so like I feel like a bad boyfriend if I need or ask for my time.
On the same coin, I don't have the same guilt of asking for time from Ian. We've talked about this.
Oh yeah.
I just like go and get my afternoon coffee if I need a moment. I think that comes very easily to me. Partly because of all the therapy that's constantly happening around me and all and treatment that I've been through, just knowing I need to advocate and give myself what I need in the moment or things kind of go south for me from an addiction standpoint and from like an anxiety standpoint. So that's kind of become very second nature to me.
Yeah, I can't find the post, but it was essentially like asking for your time or space or allowing space between each other isn't a hole in your intimacy or connection, it's a bridge to more connection.
Yeah.
Because it allows for the other person to be over here and it allows for the other person to be over here. And the separateness thing, that's a very big thing for me. But when he was producing his own content, I was able to appreciate him from my side of things, going like, oh, there's this thing he does, because I want someone to appreciate me for the things that I bring that are special to me. It's such a beautiful thing for us to do so much together, and I love that, and I would never like replace that, but I think I want to feel like I have separateness to want and crave my togetherness, you know what I mean? So that was a huge thing over the 2 weeks that like allowed, I think, for space and discovery, because I discovered again new things about Chris, and you discovered a lot about yourself. I discovered a lot about myself. I could move myself out of a New York apartment in a week. It brings me closer to him because it just invited conversation. I guess all that to say, understand that time alone is just as important as time with your partner. Period. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Let us know if you want more of these kinds of videos. We really enjoy making these kinds of videos.
Yeah.
Stick around for the bloopers.
Oh my god.
And remember to
focus
on
your
blooming. We love you.
Blooming.
I'm waiting.
Yes, I know. I'm just setting up this.
I know, I pressed record.
See, even in that, like, I trust him, but I'm still a little like, well, what's he gonna do? He's by my eye. You can't get those back, you know what I mean? You can't buy a new eye. What's the point of why I was saying that?
Honestly, ideal situation is you're not in COVID and, oh, wait, let me just.
Yeah. No, this is gonna help.
Ideal situation is you're not in COVID, but I want you to agree with me on this part. Ideal situation is you are not in COVID and you naturally have space or days or days you spend apart.
Yes, I'm here. I'm with you. Yeah,
Allow yourself to listen.
I am listening. No, I'm listening.
Sorry, I just went on a tangent.
No, yes. I mean, you did. But I was listening, I was just nodding off into our view.
I get lost in the view sometimes too.
I'm not always standing there.
My view is right here.
Yeah,
we were doing the same thing.
Cheap jokes here. And then here, and these, huh? What about